Missouri Star Live. I am your host, Misty Doan. I am so happy to be here today. As always, Liz is behind the camera.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest. Let's welcome Mark, the Quilting Marine. Hello, Mark. We are so glad to have you with us today. He's joining us live from Georgia. So this is so fun to have the technology to be able to have you in the room with us. So it's so great. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, good, good, good. Well, we always take a minute and see where we have people tuning in from, so let's go ahead and do that. We have Joyce from Lower Michigan. Deborah says, hello, Mark. Emma from Virginia. Cindy from Maine. Vanessa from Canada. Liz, who do you have on your side?
All right. Lisa says, happy aloha. Sandy Wilkerson says, good morning from Kentucky. Dee says, love the Quilting Marine. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
And Kay Davis says, hello from Fairborn, Ohio. So lots of fans tuning in.
Yes, I love that. So, Mark, why don't you just dive in and tell us a little bit about yourself for those who maybe don't know you.
Okay, so my name is Mark. I'm known as the Quilting Marine. I've been quilting for 5 years. Started just by chance. My grandson was being born. I wanted to give him something that you can't buy in the store, and I thought to build a quilt. And first thing I did was pull up Missouri Star, and I saw Jenny. I fell in love because the way she taught was so easy to learn, and I made every mistake possible.
Hey, we all do.
I got the quilt done. I just made every,
What was your first quilt?
There's photo evidence of me using my wife's island to cut on and everything. It's just, it was.
I love that. So what was the first quilt that you made for your grandson?
It was a quilt that her and Rob Appel did.
Okay.
Name of it, but her and Rob did a quilt, and I thought it was a great quilt. It was a blue and black. I forget the name of it.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll have to track it down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll track it.
That's so cool. All right. So you've been quilting for about, you said 5 years now?
I'm going into my 6th year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going into your 6th year. And so what got you, besides making the quilt for your grandson, you do a lot of crumb piecing, right?
Oh yeah, crumb piecing is my thing. That is, I guess, my favorite part. I love piecing, but putting together crumb pieces, crumb blocks, keeps me grounded. I love doing it because it's so random and it's so colorful. I love quilts with colors that just punch you in the face.
Yeah.
And the only way I can get that is with crumb pieces and crumb blocks.
I love that. And I've heard you refer to those as your emotional blocks, which I think is really beautiful as well. I love that. So do you want to walk us through kind of how you do that part?
Okay, why not? So I have a bunch of fabric here from the Tonga Creeks collection, and it's so random. Okay, so you're not doing anything specific. I'm just going to grab a couple of pieces.
Okay, I'm going to follow along with you.
All right, that works. Let's grab a block here. And all right, so with this, random cuts as well. Okay, no worries, random cuts as well.
Okay.
So here's 2 blocks. Let's put them together.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so let's take them to the machine. All right, so with crumb blocks as well, you don't have to follow the 1/4-inch seam rule. Let's put them on the machine here, put it together.
All right.
That's awesome. All right, and I'm gonna press my seam like I always do, like I learned. Let's press the seam.
All right. I'll let you do that because turns out my needle wasn't threaded, so.
All right.
So you're ahead of me.
No worries, no worries. So we're gonna open this up. We've got 2 blocks put together, all right? Now we're just gonna cut them. All right, no rules to it. Let's just cut it.
Okay.
Let's go. I'll go from this angle. All right, let's cut an angle. Now we have 2 pieces. Look at that, 2 pieces. Now I have 2 blocks I can work on. Let's grab another piece. Let's put on some of this. Ooh, wow, look at that. Let's grab this one.
Ooh, that's pretty. All right, I'm going to sew these together now. Oh, what is happening?
Uh-oh.
Hold on. I'll just keep troubleshooting. You keep teaching.
All right, no worries. So I'm going to put these people out. All right, right side's facing. But it's a batik, so there is no wrong side, right?
Exactly.
And I know you said, Mark, that you love batiks, right?
Yeah, they're batiks. So, in the Tonga trees, they're batiks. So you can go, if you get the wrong side, there is no wrong side because of being a batik. All right, so let's go ahead and press the
That's one of the best things about them.
How you doing, Misty? You good?
I'm good. I'll get this
right.
worked out. There we go. Now it's stitching.
All right, that sounds like a baby lock over there.
It is.
So we got a couple of questions, Mark. On the wall behind you, it says it's only fabric and it's only thread.
That's right. It's my mantra. I live by it because you don't want to get caught up in the fine details. My quilts are made for my loved ones and my friends. So if it has my quilt has a detail on it that is missed or a mistake on it, it's just like we are human beings. We're not all perfect, so my quilts aren't perfect.
That's
I love
right.
that, Mark, because I've talked about that a few times. That we worry about our mistakes, but our mistakes show our humanity, and we put a lot of time and effort into making these beautiful quilts, and it's okay for some of those flaws to show.
You know, I love having a quilt where, hey, you know what? I give it to a family member or a loved one. Let them find the flaw. They're not quilters. They don't know what the flaw is.
That's exactly right.
That's true.
But I'll never, my quilts are made to give away. You know, I don't sell them. The process of building the quilt is what I'm into. You know, it's what helps me. It's my therapy. You know, as a veteran who deals with PTSD, I need this. I've had many hobbies, a lot of dangerous hobbies, in search of something that quilting has given me.
Yeah.
And it's peace.
Yeah, I think that's so amazing, and I love that you weren't afraid to try. You know, I think for so many of us, if it's something new, there's a lot of fear there, and we can let that hold us back. And I love that you were willing to just dive in and say, I'm going to make a quilt for my grandson, and now it's become this beautiful part of your healing and part of your journey.
Yeah, it's part of my journey, and I'll never stop quilting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put this together.
All right.
I love that good comment here. Rachel says, quilts with flaws still keep folks warm.
That's exactly right.
All right, so, don't get attached to what you're putting together, because as it gets bigger and bigger, I'm going to cut it.
Okay.
Cut it and then start again on another side of it, all right? Because once you start paying attention to what you're putting on it, you're going to start making a pattern.
Right.
One thing you know about my channel is I'm not the Let's go against the pattern.
I love that.
All right, so I got a piece right here. Look at this piece right here. I'm going to add this piece on.
Okay.
Right? No worries.
So I have a question for you. When you're doing your crumb blocks, do you notice where you'll be drawn to certain colors on certain days, or do you always just kind of love all the colors?
You know what? So some patterns I'm drawn to, and when I first started quilting, I fought not to have anything to do with flowers. Okay?
Really?
Yes, I told my wife, don't get flowers, leave flowers alone. That's ugly. It has flowers. I'm a god, no flowers.
I love that.
I fell in love with this. I'm telling you.
You love it.
It's the best in the world. So wherever I go, I hoard it. Okay.
When you find that print.
I'm gonna put it in my back pocket.
I love that.
And I never knew that a flower print could kick you in the teeth like that.
Yeah.
You know? all the flower prints that I had ever seen before didn't have that kind of talent or that kind of, magnetism. And it's not, you can look at it and say, oh, well, that's not girly girl. That, a guy could like that.
Yeah.
And a guy does.
A guy does like it, exactly. Well, and I think that goes back to, sometimes in quilting there's a lot of rules, and it can feel very restrictive and a little too controlled for my liking. And so I think when we remember to let our guard down a little bit and to forget about some of those rules, that's
right.
when it becomes such a joyful process, right? And if that fabric speaks to you today, then sew with it. And if it doesn't speak to you tomorrow, then let it stay on the shelf for another day.
Exactly. All right, so got something going on here a little bit. So we have this, all right?
Awesome. Oh, yeah. That looks great.
All right, so look, don't get attached. I'm just going to cut it in half.
Oh, snap.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
I'm going to go from, it doesn't matter where you go for. I'm just going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to keep adding to it. I'm going to put one half aside, because that'll be something on its own life. And we'll start putting on this one. All right, no worries.
So brave.
I love that because as it gets into a wonky shape, you can just change the shape and just keep going.
So I have a question. Do you start just with yardage most often, or do you use pre-cuts, or when you're at the store, what do you find yourself buying?
I like yardage.
Okay.
Only because I like to hoard and I hide it from my wife.
That stash.
I love that.
So when I'm on my own, I buy yardage.
Okay.
When I'm with my wife, I buy pre-cuts to try to stay economically.
That's funny because I tend to buy for a project if I'm actually out shopping for myself, because I like to be a little more economical. So I must be like your wife in that way. Oh, that's fun.
Okay,
But I think this is great because I'm working with some layer cake squares from our Tonga treats, but I'm just following what you said and just, sewing them together.
Don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
All right, because eventually it's going to get big enough for us to cut it into our 8.5 by 8.5.
Right.
Which we're going to add our piecing and build a block.
Yeah.
And I also love, Mark, how you call it building a block and building a quilt. Like those construction terms feel really, you're making something, you're building something. I love that.
I love that too.
I try not to, okay, so we're gonna add this on here. Why not? Because there's no rules here. My rule, my rules.
I know, I love that. Just so free.
Yep, let it go.
Cut where you want.
So don't get, and when I'm building, my crumb blocks, I really love, the thing that I love about it is once it's done, I set it aside and I start again and do another one. I don't criticize it. I don't evaluate it. I let it go, because once you put it into a quilt, once it goes into a quilt, you won't even notice it, because you're going to be noticed by looking at all the other blocks that you've put on the quilt.
That's so true.
All right, so this is what we got so far. But look, all right, so I have a chicken in take the chicken out of the oven, all right? So this one.
Oh, that looks so good.
Okay, so now we're going to cut this down to size, all right?
Oh my gosh, okay. You're way faster than me. I think I'm still, there's like something holding me back,
Yeah, okay.
Mark, would you say this is a good beginner project? Like you don't need to have quilted for 5 years, right? You can just pick it up and go.
This would be perfect for a beginner quilter, or even a quilter who's been around the game for hundreds of years, if that exists. I'm just saying.
Just go for it.
A very calming factor of quilting. I love crumb blocks. I love putting together emotional blocks. I could sit in here for 3 or 4 hours just doing that alone. And the result I have on the wall, because sometimes my crumb blocks take over the room and I have to use them. I'm reluctant to use them because it's an emotional part of my quilt life.
Yeah.
You know? So I have a sample here that I did for my wife because she's a very supportive member and she keeps me grounded. And this was a shadow block quilt that I built for her.
Oh, it's
I don't know if
beautiful.
you guys can see it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
That's so cool.
All right, so it's very, very rare to see my crumb blocks out in public. Okay, so I think the when I give away my next quilt that has crumb blocks on it, it'll probably stay here in the house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because there is so much emotion attached to them for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful thing to just say, this is part of who you are, and part of your healing and your journey, and so they're pretty sacred, to you, I would say.
Yeah, they are, and I keep them they have their own drawer and everything. Nothing else goes in that drawer but those.
Yeah.
When it's time to break them out, when I feel it's time to break them out, I'll try to break them out and put them on something and not be too attached to it and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that crumb block building would help a lot of people, especially veterans who deal with PTSD like I do. Because we're all in search of something, especially when you come back and you're dealing with the issues that we deal with. It could be challenging to find your lane or your direction that you need, because none of us come back the same as what we went.
Right. Yeah. My like I've told you, my brother has served, and when I told him I had the opportunity to talk to you, he was so grateful to know that you had found something that is serving you after your service, and that that it can continue to help others. I think that's such a great thing, and I love that you're sharing this, because we don't have enough men in the industry who are sharing their story, and I'm just so grateful that you were willing to share yours with all of us. It's so amazing.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
I know you are.
It was the one thing that my sister-in-law, she got me into making this public or sharing it with others. She saw that I was quilting. She thought that it would be a good idea for me to have a channel. And she said, you should call yourself the Quilting Marine. My sister-in-law, I owe so much to. Her name is Tracy. She has her own channel, Gift Basket Appeal. Without her, we wouldn't even be here. She gave me the direction that I needed to go into, because when I started quilting, I was a shut-in. I was shut in and building quilts that that look like this.
Yeah.
My quilts were everywhere, but after sharing and gaining friends and who could teach me and help me, it got to where it is right now, and I'm very grateful.
It's so amazing. It's just so amazing. So thank you to Tracy and to your beautiful wife Yvonne for making it possible for you to share so much with us.
My wife is my 8-1. She's my support. I absolutely love her and her sister.
Yeah.
Giving me so much.
That's so cool.
And, without them, my quilts would be, my quilting, I'm sure I'm just upset that I didn't get into quilting much younger. If I had gotten quilting much younger, I probably could have built a quilt house.
Well, you've got all the time in the world now. You've got so much time. So I think that's... Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna stitch one more seam, and then I think maybe I can cut mine. Mine is not as intricate or as cool as yours, but we will make it work.
And we've got a lot of folks just want to share with you. So many folks saying thank you for sharing and thank you for your service, Mark. And
Larry, service was all mine. Remember, there's still service members that are deployed. Red.
I know. Yeah.
Remember, everyone's deployed.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And I, when my brother was deployed a few years ago, it's interesting because we don't hear it on the news so much anymore, but it's still really dangerous. You know, it is very dangerous for all of our troops out there. So we definitely are thinking of all of them and are grateful for their service. And this just seemed like the right time to talk about it, coming off of Memorial Day and remembering all of those who have who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to be able to talk about these things. Oh, yeah, I got so distracted by your story, I accidentally cut an extra inch off. But the beauty in this is I can just sew another piece on.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just sew another one on the side.
And Mark, I know one of the things that you're also talking about often is to reach out to other veterans and to say, you know, try quilting, see if it's healing for you too. So folks who are watching, do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watching, if you have a veteran in your family or a veteran, he or she's probably standing behind you right now watching. Look back at him and tell him, give it a shot. Nothing can hurt. You're not going to lose anything. Start off with crumb blocks, and then eventually put them together, and you're going to have a quilt.
I love that. I think that's so cool. Well, and I think it's so powerful to see someone like you, who they can relate to, who's also served, who is a veteran, who's experienced these things, and you're so open and sharing your struggles with PTSD and how far you've come. And I think that's just so relatable and so powerful for so many people. You know, that's not something that I can speak to, and so I'm just so grateful that you share this with all of those people who are also struggling.
No, the sharing actually is new to me as well. You know, before I wouldn't share. I would never tell my story. I would never give up.
Yeah.
You know, the horrors. You know, it's just something that has come with quilting. Quilting has brought that out of me. You know, and I'm so proud and happy that quilting has done that for me.
Yeah.
And it can only help others. And if it can help one other veteran, one other Marine, one other soldier, sailor, airman, to come out and to share and to give up the nightmares, then I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so amazing, Mark. So amazing.
And I want to give a shout out here to, in our comments, Amy Jameson says, I'm a paralyzed veteran. I just finished my first quilt since my accident. Congratulations, Amy. That's awesome.
Amy, congratulations.
Great
well
job.
done.
That's so wonderful. I'm so glad you're here and sharing that with us. It's just so cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So good.
All right, so, all right, I see Misty over there hustling.
I'm trying.
So we're going to use the Tonga treats. We're going to make some easy 8s. And then once you build an easy 8, look what we got. All right, here's one.
Yo, those are so good, Mark. So good.
And here's 2.
Love it. And we have a couple here too. And so on the ones we made, we actually just used total scraps in the middle.
Oh,
and so you can.
Oh, Misty, you beat me to it.
So these are just scraps in the center of these 2 blocks, but they came out so nice. I think they look so beautiful. And then we used the Tonga batiks as the star legs to kind of tie everything together. Because I thought that was such a great way to honor what you do, Mark, with all of the color.
Thank you.
Yes. So I just think...
Put that up again. That's awesome.
Yeah. Isn't that so great?
That is sick. I like that. Oh, man, that is nice.
Yeah, and so here, let me show you, because we actually finished it. We set 3 of these big blocks together. And
Misty,
so...
what green is that? What's that green from? What?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just from scraps.
Nice. I like that green.
Isn't that fun? So,
that's nice.
So like Mark said, we've cut our crumb blocks into 8.5-inch squares. And so let me show you guys real quick how to make the star legs to go around that. Because for those of you who are familiar with Jenny's style of teaching, we're just going to use our Easy 8 method, which is so fun. So we've got 2 of our 10-inch squares, and we've got our background, which we're calling these stars our background, and our print. In this case, it's a red. And so you would just put those right sides together. It doesn't really matter with the batik because they're batiks and they're awesome. And so then we've just drawn an X in both directions, corner to corner. And so then what we've done is we're going to sew a 1/4 inch on either side. So you can see here, we've sewn a 1/4 inch from that drawn line on either side. This is all stitched. And then now we can cut these apart to get our star legs. So we're going to start by actually cutting corner to corner, like so.
And that's right on that line you drew.
And that's, yep, exactly, right on the line you drew.
I want to cross the stick.
Make sure we've got this corner to corner. Oops, started to slide. Just make sure your ruler doesn't move on you. And so then now we're actually going to cut it in half both directions this way as well. So like that. And then like so. And so then now we're going to get 8 of these star legs. These half square triangles that we'll use to make the star legs on our block. So we can just press those back. And you need 8 of these for each block, so that's why this method works so great. And so if you need to square these up, you can square them to 4.5, and then when you sew them together, you'll get your 8.5 inch block. So I've got some of those ready to go here. Let me show you.
Chicken in the oven.
That's right.
Somewhere in my pile of mess I've created. All right, here we go. So let's pull all this together now. So we've got our star legs, and you can see I've got a 4.5 inch square in the corners. So this is just a plain square in each corner. And then we've got our crumb block here and our other 2 star legs. Did I drop one? Somewhere in my pile.
It's in there somewhere.
So this is the danger for me in crumb piecing, I think. I just make such a mess.
Welcome to my world.
I believe it.
Quilting is messy, right?
All right. Well, I don't know what I've done with it, but I can sew a couple more together, I guess. So, where did they go?
Did it fall in front of you?
I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh, I had it all stacked neatly. I was doing so good.
That's all right. So we just take 2 of the half square triangles we just made for the easy 8.
Yeah.
And we can stitch them
Those
together.
together. So let me just grab a couple of those. I'll press one more. There we go. And then we just want to make sure our star legs are going the right direction.
Oh.
So they'll go in like that, and so we'll sew those
Perfect.
together.
Why is it camp?
Okay.
And this is a really great way to set something in a bigger block. And Mark, we love what you did with the shadow quilt version. And so guys, we want to encourage you to subscribe to Mark's channel. You can find the link in the description below. And also today on our YouTube channel for Missouri Star, we are going to also be featuring a handful of Mark's quilts, including how to make that illusion quilt and how to make, you've also done Jenny's half square triangles around the world. So we put some of those together so you can follow Mark. We've just loved this so much.
A lot of my beginning quilts were homages to Jenny.
I
mean, she's such a great teacher.
She is a wonderful teacher.
How do you turn that down?
I love it. All right. So let's put this block together real quick. Whoops. There's one side, and then I'll add my star legs to the other side here.
And I have a question too for you, Mark, from Cherokee Campbell. Says, I struggle with crumb quilting. How do you piece when you have a triangle cut shape? So if you're not using squares, how do you sew a triangle on and keep going? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll just sew it on and then add another triangle to the triangle and keep adding triangles. Once you add enough triangles, it'll be a round. It'll not be square, but it'll be round in effect.
Okay. And so you can always also just kind of slice it off and keep going. Like you said, don't get attached, right?
There you go, Liz. You know it.
And then you just square it up in the end, right?
You have to square it up in the end. Cut it, and then start again. If it doesn't fit, cut it.
So good.
I'm going to take that mantra.
Reminder. It's only fabric and it's only thread.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
I'm going to start hearing you cheering me on in my ear, Mark, I think. So good.
Going through it. Don't get wrapped around. It's not brain surgery. No one's life depends on it.
Yeah, it's so true. All right. Getting everything lined up here.
Oh, and Leah says you could even use crumb blocks for the star legs. You can use crumb blocks anywhere you've got fabric,
that would
right?
be stunning.
That is right.
Look at that coming together.
Nice.
Oh, so good. Looks so good. One more.
So another question, Joanne says, when building your chrome quilt, do you use the same types of fabric or can you mix fabrics?
I've mixed fabrics.
So they don't all have to be batiks. They don't all have to be
They don't
quilting
have to
cotton.
all be cotton.
All right.
Oh, do you use things besides quilter's cotton when you do your crumb blocks?
Yes, I've got polyester.
Wow.
I got one that's got some. Looks like it's made out of barbed wire somewhere.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool. I love that. I love that. All right, so there we go. We've got our block together. You can see how quickly that comes together.
At that.
Nice, nice.
So, and then we just put 3 together to make this great table runner. It's got that awesome big block. You can see how quickly
That's it. That's
it
pretty
all works out. So
nice.
that's so cool. Well, Mark, I just have loved learning from you and learning about your journey. I mean, do we have any other questions before we let him get back to his busy day?
Just so much love and so much thanks for your service. So much thanks for sharing your story with us today. It was so great to have you and Misty together so that we could talk through this really fun project and fun product. So
Thanks, Misty. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Mark, like I told you earlier, I'm just so honored and grateful that you're willing to come on here and chat with me and share some of your story. And I truly hope it will be a blessing and a gift to so many of our veterans. And thank you for all that you do.
Anything you need. Liz.
yes.
Liz.
This was really great, Mark. Thank you.
It's been so wonderful. Thank you to you. Thank you to Yvonne. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.